Hello and welcome to another Nikke video. Going to discuss the issue with spare bodies and how this will affect you in the future. Please leave a like and a sub, and I hope you enjoy the video. So really quickly, let me go ahead and just show you. Let me just go ahead and go to the shop right now. And pretty much it's going to be in this area. It's called the mileage shop. In order to get silver mileage tickets, all you got to do is pull on the regular banner, and it's one ticket per pull regardless of what you get. And besides the banner unit, they obviously right now 2B, but if you look at the regular spare bodies here, there's actually 9 of them. So each of these spare bodies, each of these icons represent a group, and there's pretty much 9 groups. The reason why this is important, let me go ahead and bring up this web page here. So pretty much what happens is, depending on what group it is, one of these Nikkes from this group is going to be selected in that shop. So for example, on this group 1 here, let me go ahead and go to the game. See, group 1 is for Ludmilla. Group 2 is Pepper. Group 3 is Yan, so on and so forth. So if we look right here, you see Emma, Pepper, Yan, so on and so forth. But the problem that's going on with the mileage shop, in case you don't know, especially for those new players, besides increasing the level cap to 160, which is a really good thing they did, the problem is that all players are going to face is pretty much the wall. So in order to pass that 160 level cap, you have to have 5 SSR Nikkes at MLB. So you have to have not only do you have to pull the Nikke, but you also have to pull 3 additional copies of that Nikke. So depending on what Nikkes you have, sometimes you could be locked out of getting that 3rd copy, and you have to get more spare bodies for a different Nikke. And also as well, this list has been only updated one time since the game has been released. Yes, only one time. Where we look right here is on 1/5/2023, so the beginning of the year, and it's only the cute and funny Nikke, which is really there. But pretty much everything else that you're seeing here, this is from the beginning of the game, and it still has not changed. So no other Nikke has been added into the banner. And there's only one Pilgrim in this whole mileage shop, which is going to be Noah right here. So she is the only Pilgrim in this whole mileage shop. Everyone else is not included for some reason besides Ree. You see everyone else here, and this is still the old list. Like, this still hasn't really been changed. And let me go ahead and just I even compiled the whole list here for you guys, so that way it's a little bit easier for you guys to see. Let me go ahead and pull it up. So here, and let me zoom in. So pretty much these, let me do it like this. So I'm just going to cover up the SRs at the bottom, because you don't need to buy because pretty much you're going to pull them anyways while pulling units. But pretty much these are all the SSR Nikkes in the game that have been released so far. Some of them were already when the game first started, but a lot of units have been introduced. Now let me go ahead and show you the list of the SSRs that you cannot get on the mileage shop. So here's the list. The list on the right is the weeks. I just organized it to make it a little bit easier, but let me go ahead and zoom in on the things that we need to see. Let me zoom in a little back. Yeah, so the way how I organize this, on this first row, this is the Collab limited units. And honestly, I do not see these coming in the mileage shop at all for any reason. Because I'm thinking of this from a dev's perspective, and also from my financial perspective. From a player perspective, I want all these units in the mileage shop. But from a dev and financial perspective, it would not make financial sense to put any of these limited collab units, because let's say they did put the collab units in the shop. What's going to happen is people really only need to pull one of these units, and then as time goes on and as they play longer, they could just go ahead and purchase more copies of the collab units. So really, there's no point in going deep on these collab units. That's the way I'm seeing it. So in my opinion, I really don't see them coming in at all. I mean, if they do happen to put them in the mileage shop, I expect them to be at a higher price than the regular Nikkes are. But honestly, I do not see them ever coming in the mileage shop at all. And okay, now this second line, this is the limited units. So how the game is still young, so far no banner has been rerun. That does not mean that these units will not come back. In my honest opinion, I think they will come back. And especially how the summer just ended and Christmas is coming up, I'm assuming that Rupee and also Annie are going to be coming up soon when it's getting close to Christmas. So if you did happen to miss out on these units, you will still be able to get them. In my opinion, I don't know. I'm just making an educated guess. But I can see these units coming into the shop. Since these Nikke should be coming back into the game, especially once the theme of the season comes back into the game, these Nikke should be able to be bought into the mileage shop. If they are going to be put in the mileage shop, one of two things I could think of: either they're going to be raising the price of these spare bodies, or if not, they're going to have a different currency for these limited units. But of course, only time will tell. All right, for this third line, this is the Pilgrim units. I know Nihilisters down here. I'll explain that in a little bit. So in terms of the Pilgrim units, I know they added one Pilgrim already there, which is Noah. The only thing is that it does not make sense financially to really put Scarlet, Snow White, Dorothy, Modernia, maybe Rapunzel. I could see them putting Isabella and Haran, just because in terms of Pilgrims, they went down quite a bit. I mean, they're still useful depending on what team they're built around. For example, you could put Isabella and Vessi together. They make a really, really good team. But in terms of like Scarlet and Modernia, if they put them in the shop right now, everyone's going to use their mileage tickets to go ahead and just get them to as many cores as possible. It would just be smarter financially to put them on another banner that specifically targets these Pilgrims, so that way they could make more money. All right, next up on this fourth row, these are the Liberation units. So this is why Nihilister is there. And not only that, technically you could already buy spare bodies from the Union shop. I'll go ahead and show it right now. You see they're all here. I know the cost is pretty high, but these Union chips, I mean, the Union raids that we've been getting, they've been getting pretty often. And as long as your Union does pretty good and you hoard the resources, you're able to get more of these spare bodies whenever you want. I mean, there's going to be a certain point where the batteries themselves, you're going to max them out. And then from then on, I mean, it's pretty much you're going to be using spare bodies. The only other thing is maybe ShiftUp does something different and they make like an overload a cube or something like that to make it more powerful, and you have to waste more resources. But for now, I mean, once you reach, I believe, level 10, there's no more leveling up the cube. And then from there, you could just go ahead and use it on the spare bodies or just hoard for a future mechanic. Even though all these characters have been put into the regular pool, mid-quality mold, and the high-quality mold, they are still not in the mileage shop. I mean, I don't know why, like Novel, Alice, Dala, for example, they've been since the beginning of the game, and they still have not been in the mileage shop. I have no idea why. And also this leads to another problem too, since I know some people are trying to get past the wall, and I know some people have some of these Nikkes that you see on the screen, especially the bottom row, and sometimes they'll have them at LB1 or LB2 and they're very, very close to go ahead and MLB them. But if they do happen to be in that situation, it's going to be an uphill battle, because normally when you're pulling regularly, so not only are you able to put those Nikkes on the wish list, if you don't happen to get them and you do enough pulls, you can just wait for them to appear on the shop and then go ahead and purchase them, and then go ahead, and that will allow you to get the MLB much more sooner. But since they're not there, you're pretty much facing an uphill battle. So hopefully ShiftUp does update the shop eventually. I mean, this should have been updated a long time ago, and they should already made a statement regarding everything that you're seeing here. I mean, I understand why they're not going to do Liberation, because they're going to say, hey, it's already in the unit shop, just go ahead and purchase the spare bodies there. But they should really make some form of statement, or even update the shop to add these other Nikkes on it, so then that way it removes the pressure from other players, and especially the newer players that are just trying to get past the wall. For everybody who's already passed the wall, there's honestly no pressure. I mean, besides getting the higher rank in the solo raid and union raid, besides that, as long as you're past the wall, it's pretty much just a waiting game. As long as you pull and just collect mileage tickets, eventually you'll MLB whichever unit that's currently on the list, which is this list on the right hand side here. You see all these you could MLB no problem, or even Core 7 at your convenience. So at any time you could go ahead and do it, but all these ones on the left hand side you cannot. So please keep that in mind in case you are chasing an MLB for a certain unit. I know a lot of people are hoping for Alice because she is a very strong unit even after all the macro banning and all that stuff. Or even if not, I mean, Blanc and Noir, even Helm's really good as well. I mean, there's a lot of good units here. And yeah, that's about it. I just wanted to go ahead and talk about the spare bodies, since I don't think everybody knew how the spare bodies worked and what units were actually on and off. I mean, I just made this little handy list just to make it easier for you guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. I'm Scrublord, and I'll see you next time.